Cannabis policy in Africa. In the 21st century, we are already seeing liberalization of cannabis policy reform in Africa. Sometimes back, a Nigerian presidential candidate said that people are making billions out of the marijuana plant, asking his people to focus on how to grow and export the weeds. In South Africa, Parliament authorized medical marijuana. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Canadians pharmaceuticals in 2017 obtained a license to grow cannabis more than 10,000 acres. In 2018, they had cleared 50 acres, planted 40,000 plants. And they have the same agreement with Malawi, Lesotho, Eswatini, Uganda. In 2012, and 2017, we began growing cannabis in Uganda. Uganda purchased marijuana seeds from the Netherlands, valued at $42,000. In July 2018, in Israel, the company known as Together Pharmaceutical traded on Tel Aviv stock market. Exchanges exporting Uganda cannabis to Germany. You have it in all African countries. You have it in Zimbabwe. You have it in Uganda. You have it in Kenya. That is what one could also term as the recolonization of Africa, using the government in Africa to sign dubious deals in producing marijuana in Africa. We can produce it, but when our people start consuming it in a long term, it could be a big problem for the people of Africa. I'm really worried about the future of the Bazukulu, the grandchildren of Uganda. We are going into a business of growing marijuana as the Minister of Agriculture embarks on research in order to turn marijuana into a future crop for Ugandans. They claim that marijuana growing is one of the new trends with potential lucrative businesses in Uganda. Now we start claiming that beside malaria treatment, they believe that global medical retrieves give them the indication that using marijuana medically may also help in treating epilepsy. Well, that would be something nice if they could be very clear and open to the people. Tell them where they did their research, where they proved that it can help in treating epilepsy. But if we base our argument only on a report that had been written by someone who is doing his master's or doing his PhD, and we call it empirical research, that we can base our argument to start pumping our people with growing marijuana, and then we turn marijuana into a national crop. That to me is an insult to the office of the Ministry of Agriculture. It is a real insult that you sit there because you want to make money, you start creating a lot of unnecessary problems, unseen problem in actual fact, because we don't know what is going to happen in 10 years' time. Let's say in 5 years' time, we turn our people, our young generation, to become addicts by taking too much cannabis that we started producing ourselves simply because we want to make money abroad, because we want to be in the stock market, because that is where you can earn, can generate money, then we are wrong. Then we are going the wrong way. And that is what the Ministry of Agriculture should have thought of before. To me, it seems as if all these ministries in Uganda is a private organization owned by either the minister or owned by the government, and the parliament has no right. The parliament has nothing to say about marijuana becoming a crop, a national crop. We have heard a lot that marijuana can reduce chronic pain, and cancer symptoms. Now the so-called specialized in Uganda want to take legal action for commercial production. The Ministry of Agriculture believe that their research is aimed at finding the best marijuana seeds for medical purposes. The Ministry of Agriculture believe that it would help the state to determine the role of fertilizers, pesticides, and other agricultural supplies for marijuana growing in the Pearl of Africa. Without shame, they are calling marijuana to be a new crop in the food sector. They are working hard because somebody paid them to do the job. Somebody gave them money to do the research. And those people, they are the one who are really enjoying the process because they're sitting in the stock market and making profit and profit. But let the Ministry of Agriculture tell me what profit is Uganda making by producing marijuana and selling it to Canada, to America, or in the stock market. Who is really benefiting? Come out, tell us the truth, let us know what is happening. But don't come with the story that marijuana can reduce my pain if I have cancer. Marijuana can reduce my epilepsy if I have epilepsy. All these pharmaceutical industries had been doing research even before I was born, even before you were born. They never found a cure to most of those sicknesses. And now they want to make money on the cannabis, on marijuana. And the best place to produce it is Africa, because Africa can go for anything. African president can put their hand on anything as long as there's money coming in. And when you hear the Ministry of Agriculture saying we are working very hard to prepare Uganda technical personnel in the ministry to guide potential farmers on best practices. What best practices? What do you know? What does the Uganda technical personnel knows about cannabis, about marijuana, about its effect on the people? What do they know about someone becoming addicted to marijuana? The ministry is claiming that the ministry is mandated to formulate, review, and implement national standards and also enforce them along the agricultural value chain. Tell me, did you pass through Parliament to obtain that authorization? If not, did you really ask the people of Uganda whether they really want marijuana to become a cash crop in their country? If marijuana is set to become a future cash crop for Ugandans, why should only the Ministry of Agriculture have the power to determine standards for marijuana accepted for export? We have the Parliament with members of Parliament from various districts in Uganda. Why can't we allow them to discuss this proposal, to go and consult with their people in the villages, to go and consult with the people who send them to Parliament, whether Ugandans really want to produce marijuana in the Pearl of Africa. And we destroy our own children with those marijuana we are going to produce simply because we want to hand foreign currency. By handing foreign currency, we are destroying the people at home. We are destroying the generation to come. And if everybody become an addict, then we will have to run to the same people, the same pharmaceutical industries that will come back and start telling us, now we know how we can help you to cure your addiction. But first, we are the one creating the addiction. All these African countries, from Nigeria to Uganda to Kenya to Democratic Republic of Congo, we are accepting the money We are the one causing the problem for the future generation. If everybody become an addict, then we have a problem, because we will have to find a way to cure that addiction sometimes back. Why can't we allow the representative of the people, the member of parliament, the councillors in various districts, to determine whether they want marijuana to become a new cash crop in their neighborhood? Agricultural ministry, an institution, should stop playing with our grandchildren's life. The Parliament of Uganda should not allow the ministry to handle responsibility to license marijuana farmers in the country. Just like other crops, marijuana is not just like other crops. Unless the minister is very stupid, unless the Minister of Agriculture is very stupid, marijuana is not like any other crops that can be used for free consumption. All process as regard to marijuana, cannabis policy in Africa, they should lay it down on the representative of the people to decide in consultation with the people themselves whether they want marijuana to be a part of their cash crops. We should get away from this temptation of having dollars. We have to develop this country no matter how far we go. We have to develop this country by destroying the next generation. We have to develop this country by including cannabis, marijuana, as a cash crop. Have we gone mad? This is something anybody intelligent, anybody with brain will not accept. This thing has been going on illegally for a long time. There's thousands of acres of land being allocated for production of cannabis, marijuana, simply because they want to make money. We are destroying the life of our children. Imagine if we are involved in manufacturing, for example, anthrax, a deadly biological substance that is prohibited by the UN. Imagine our children start experiencing strange sickness like nodding diseases, and you can't find a cure for it, and you really don't know what happened. And now you want to add more by creating or allowing marijuana to be a national cash crop. We are really playing with the future of our younger generation. I understand that the Ministry of Agriculture is already monitoring and supervising farms that are growing marijuana in Uganda through an Israeli firm, Together Pharmaceutical Limited. They have already secured land in Uganda to grow the crops. The company closed a deal to supply cannabis oil to Canada. But you tell me, who is going to benefit most from those deals? Is it Ugandans, the Canadians, or the Israelis? And this farm is a farm that could give Uganda hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. We as a state, we are only worried about making money, not the long-term effect on our people. We don't even consider the effect of our decision, what is going to happen to our children, what is going to happen to our grandchildren. The Member of Parliament in Uganda has kept quiet. Since the news of Uganda becoming a marijuana state. Why can't you come out and tell Ugandans the truth about the creative marijuana deals we are peddling? Do we really understand what marijuana can do to our people in the future? Or we just need the dollars to finance our parliamentary activities, to finance the buying of your cars, the one you drive, paid for by taxpayers' money. And now you're bringing us marijuana as a cash crop? Are you serious? Let me be clear. We should not get glued to development dreams. Or making money to satisfy our own egos. I believe that some farms are already growing marijuana without licenses. We have 3 locations today in Uganda. We have one in 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣, actually district in northern Uganda. They are growing marijuana. We have one in 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣. Which I talk about sometimes back. And we have the 3rd location, is in Nakasongola district. The farms are growing weed on land measuring 7,000 hectares. And they still need more. Soon we are going to start hearing about a new way of grabbing land. By the ministry's concern, we will start declaring any land they find that is fertile and turn it into game reserve to satisfy their own egos. To satisfy their own egos, because they can use all the tricks to get land and produce marijuana. We are doing two jobs at the same time. We are trying to destroy our own children, and by exporting those cannabis, those marijuana, we are also destroying somebody's children somewhere where we are selling those drugs, where we are making people to become drug addicts. Is that what we really want as Ugandans? Is that the best we can do as Ugandans? These things should stop. You have now in Nakasongola, you have now in Noya, you have now in Bukasese. Where are we going next? The Member of Parliament need to come out and tell us the truth. Who is really running the government of Uganda? Is it the pharmaceutical industry or individual ministries? The truth must be told. I am just trying to open your eyes before it is too late. We should stop these practices of using our own people as guinea pigs for experiments that could, in the long run, turn out to be the worst disaster we should have never undertaken. They say in about 10 years' time, all our children becomes addict. And then we have to start creating more money. We have to start looking for money. We will have to start looking for medicine to cure something that we could have stopped before even beginning. We should have not started this marijuana business. And these African leaders, maybe they don't understand it, but you are creating a problem for the new generation. You and me, we are going to be dead long time ago before that problem start cropping up in our society. Before that problem start killing our children and our grandchildren and the grandchildren and the grandchildren. So if you sit down there in Africa or in Europe, or you are very clever, you want to make cannabis, marijuana, a national crops in Africa, then you are the most stupid and mad, useless person I've ever seen in life. I will be back. I will keep talking until you listen. And for some of you who thinks, yeah, after all, money is coming in, the government is doing well, the ministry is doing well, let's produce marijuana. I wish you all the best. And don't cry later. Don't cry later that I wish always come later. Thank you for listening.